Greetings, people. Welcome to the Soul Grinder, and as you can see, we have a very popular guest coming back. A guest that's been requested for a long time, and I have been waiting for him to arrive for a long time. You may know he is known worldwide for his magnificence and his multitudes of topics of research and exploration. We know him as Professor Hentai, but right now his name is Ralosvek, which is what I'm gonna. Yes.
Pronounce the fake language correctly.
Okay, fake language. What do you mean? Did you make that up?
No. I actually did make up a fake language from my childhood. I never advanced it past like 12 words and very limited grammatical structure, but respect it. It exists.
Okay, what are the words? Okay, now I'm curious.
Okay, so I don't. It's kind of like one of those things which came first, chicken or the egg.
Right.
Did the bullshit concept of language come up first, or did I just randomly say something and go like, yeah, I like that. Let's keep doing that. So the language is called Tolvek, which translates literally into the breath of Vek. I am Vek. So literally, I made up a language which is the literal equivalent of me saying Khalid's words. It's a very egotistical language, as you can tell.
Very egocentric, yes.
Yeah, very egocentric. Beautiful. Everyone else. I imagine if it ever spreads to the world, it'll be like the equivalent of creating the verbal version of Donald Trump. It's so stupid that you don't understand how it works, but it's fucking genius.
Right. Okay. I want to hear the words. Give me the word and what they mean. That's what I want to hear.
Okay. So the I being Vek, if I had a group of people, it would be the Empire of Ralosvek, which means either from the people's perspective, it means our house of Vekt, or if I am saying it, it means my house of Vek. So the word our actually means mine when I'm using it.
Okay, sure.
No, because it's equivalent of someone saying this is, like, let's say you live on a plot of land, you say this is my family's plot of land. But then you learn you don't actually own the plot of land. It's probably the feudal lord's land that gave it to you. Kind of like that. See that?
So everything will revolve around Ralos in this particular case, or Vek rather, in this particular case. Okay.
I am basically the queen bee, and you all work for my pleasure and for my existence, because I am basically you.
Well, that's not unlike any deity, right?
Yeah, no. But I'm a giving god, mostly because I have nothing, so I can't really be stingy with it. Can't be stingy with nothing.
If you can give nothing, technically you can give the world everything.
Oh my god, yes. And like nothing isn't nothing, as we discussed, in the Duania once, that nothing isn't actually nothing. It is merely the god of everything, separate from the actual existence and as we understand it.
Oh yes, I remember that conversation. How long was that? Was that 3 to 4 hours of us just running in circles?
How did I even start? Like, it was, I know we asked the question, it wasn't even asking. It started with Arasan, like, bragging about how he discovered the answer to the fundamental question: if God makes a rock and he can't lift it, is he still God?
Yep.
That's how it started. He was bragging that he found the answer to it. Wasn't even asking,
Yeah, that's sort of how it goes. Yes, with Arasan.
Can you imagine? It's like imagine you're in a scenario where someone says, "How, like, United Nations summit? How can we make world peace a reality?" And then one guy comes up and asks the question. He says, "Let me tell you how, because I figured it out." You would just roll your eyes and like, "Fuck this guy. I know it could be the answer, but fuck your ego. Fuck you." That you would start like that.
Honestly, I think the UN and these places would benefit a lot from a little bit of ego thrown in there. Like, imagine the House of Parliament, any House of Parliament, with an actual guy who brags instead of being like, "Thank you everybody for a contribution. I am humbled by your vision." Instead of that, he comes and is like, "Yep, I did that. I did that. You guys are shit."
I learned that there actually are people like that, but it's like, how should I put it? It's kind of like the bloopers of the UN. You have to specifically search for them to find those segments. Usually, it's either some Middle Eastern dictator, something involving the hashtag of Israel and/or Palestine, and then usually North Koreans, and then the fourth one is some country is annoyed at someone else because they got the short end of the stick, and then they start complaining. Like, those are the four things you look for that have those situations.
No, there's another one actually. Like, when those random environmentalists come in, the vegans and all those guys come into the UN summits, they're always so like passive aggressively braggy. Like,
I've literally never seen that. Okay, we got a fifth blooper. I like this.
Yep.
Okay.
No, like Greta Thunberg when he shows up. So you took everything from me. How dare you? The implicit egoism in it, the self-righteousness of it.
I'm typing that up as we speak. Vegetarians at UN complaining. I don't know. I'll find something. But
Skinny, no. Louis is not dead. Louis is gone. I don't know where he went. He gave me the channel and then he fucked off. I don't know what happened. But yeah, he's welcome to come back anytime he wants.
Wait. Oh my god. Do you know what I just realized? I
Yes?
am on a live chat and Darkrai Q8 can swear at me in comments. This has never happened before.
Usually. Yes, the dynamics have flipped. Welcome to the new vision.
Aziz, swear at me right now. You know what you need to say, because I'd say it to you all the time. Do it now.
What, dislike? I know you're the one who dislikes his
Don't you ruin it! Come on, man.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows.
Give him the chance to fucking do it. Come on, man. Everyone, go follow Darkrai Q8's content, share, like, and subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Darkrai is great.
Shameless plug.
Yes, he streams random video games at random intervals, and that's the reason why he's awesome. Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Are we talking about something?
I have no idea. What were we talking about? We're talking about the UN, and then we, like... I have no idea. Huh.
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like there's a question about my language, and then ego, and then UN. Yes.
Yes, we went to language, ego, and then the UN, but let's put that all aside. There's something you wanted to tell us about, which is how the coronavirus really, really is good. So please tell me your perspective.
Okay. Before that, I just want to ask, how are you handling the virus? Because I want to balance your reality, and then I want to say, okay, forget that. Here's something fun.
Well, I hate not going outside. That's definite. But I'm playing a lot of video games, which is I'm catching up to all the things I couldn't do because I was so busy going outside and socializing. So that has been my experience. Not really positive, not really negative. I'm dealing with it, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. See, what I like about that is, like, I have this personal philosophy. It's not even a philosophy. It's more like a thing I believe, that I don't have time for things I have time for. So why would I make time for things I don't have time for? Now that this virus thing has started, we now have time for things we don't have time for. Because what the fuck else are we going to do? We can't do the other shit. So now it's flipped. We can actually do that. And we're still going to complain because, it's all that, like, God damn it, fucking pro-yos can't get any. I am annoyed at one thing.
Yes?
And I forgot what that was. There was something I realized. It was like a few days ago. There was this one thing that I could not do, and I know it was at someone's expense, and I couldn't do it. That's the only thing that I remember. So here's an annoying thing about Kuwait, is that there is only 3 places total that you can get four places that you can get good Korean food. And I mean, like, real authentic stuff made by the actual Koreans. Three of
Right.
which are legal, and I cannot say them online because I actually like them and I want them to continue. They're at someone's house. It's at someone's house, it's those kind of things. Great stuff. Anyway, the other one is a legal place. Now, my brother once, like years ago, he tried to send our parents to a Korean restaurant. We all ate there. Terrible, complete shit. So I wanted to invite them to this legit Korean place. And I went there myself to test it out with my expertise. Real Korean, amazing. Even it's the same expensive price range that it's like, okay, this is real Korean. They even got the absurd price range.
Okay.
And then the virus happened, and I didn't get to do it, and I didn't get to I didn't get to do the equivalent of, "Ha, screw you, brother. I know better than you." That's the only annoying thing about this.
That is a valid complaint. I cannot say anything about that because like showing people that they're wrong is one of the hallmarks of the salt grinder here, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. Go dab that salt on, and you're like, didn't get to do it. Fucking compensated. Yeah.
But here's the thing. You like me are right now. You are you're a DM. You're a game master. You're a dungeon master, right?
I am.
And now that we have this epidemic, we both have to do it online. And, my experience has been overwhelmingly annoying. GMing online has been very, very annoying. Just the lag time between the people as they want to talk over each other really, really kills it, right? And we try our best, but it's not quite the same. And I'm curious about your experience with that.
Yeah. So I remember I discussed with my friends like what we're gonna do because we usually gather together and we went to the store and showed a good game to play. We sat down and played every week. And then with that closing, we talked about making Discord. We had one guy make the server, make multiple chats for like one for maps, one for roles, because you don't want all that shit together. That's too much. And at first it was like, okay, there was a system. We figured out how to do it because 6 people shouting at each other online while playing Dungeons and Dragons, not easy to manage. Not easy. So you have to make everyone have their turn, respect each other in a way that they've never done before. Not to say they're assholes, but it's a skill how to talk online with other people. It really is, because like in real life, worst case scenario, I just slap someone and they stop talking. But you can't do that online. So how do you? Yeah. So
there is a slight 0.3 second delay that kills everything.
Oh, okay. Luckily, we didn't get lag. I think that the most annoying thing is like how some people have perpetually like the same problems with their mics every time. And every time we start, we're like, okay, Mohammed, I can hear your nose breathe. You know what to do. And every time, for like 6 weeks, it's like, what do I do? It's like, you know what to do. It's even worse. It's like, it's consistent. Like, it's just constant wind blowing like he's being swept away by a hurricane. And I know how his breathing pattern is. I've memorized it. How many times I've heard it.
No, that's the problem with like because of these like whenever you put them, they're placed directly here. So even when you're not talking, it's just where the air goes, and it's really, really annoying.
Yeah.
And I figured out a way to fix that, and that's like I've seen it where you go it from the back and it goes right here, so it's actually outside of the air range. But it's really tedious to actually pull off, and it requires some mechanics, which is, and we're just doing a fucking like GMing campaign. We're doing a campaign. We don't need to do all this extra crap, but you have to, and that's the annoying part.
Yeah. By the way, Aziz, you know why. I love these comments. I love this. This is so good.
Yeah, just having the comments stream at you. If you want anything clicked, tell me and I'll click it and it shows. Like
you see it right there. Yeah. Okay. That's good. So can I click? I'm just wondering. No, just you. Okay.
Yeah, only I'm the guy in charge. Just tell me to click anything and I'll do it. But here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
overall, I'm curious to hear your take on this, but
Mhm.
I've GM'd only one group, right? Using the Genesis system,
Uh,
not the classic D&D system, and I've had a lot of difficulties. None I couldn't manage, but a lot of difficulties nonetheless, right? You have way more experience than me. Have you done different groups? And if you have, what do you do to that one guy who just kind of sits there and does nothing the entire time?
mm,
You know, that guy
unfortunately,
who's just happy to be there. What do I do with him?
yeah. I mean, there's so much to go there, but let's go specifically on the question. You have the one guy, and for whatever reason, just isn't in it with the rest of you. You know, I get it. I mean, it really depends on his personality. Like, how should I say this? When you role play with someone, you get a glimpse of who they are, because in its most essential nature, in how it works, role playing is working together. Because without all these parts and moving mental devices working together in harmony, you achieve nothing. I can make a story, but that's equivalent of like writing words on a paper. It doesn't come to life. It's only
Right.
through the other side, when they react to it, it then works. It's a conversation. Like in any conversation, you need at least two parts: providing and reacting, providing, reacting. Now, this guy, in this example, can you tell me a little bit about, like, normally, is he like an asshole? Do you work well with him? Like how he works in relation to the rest of the group in non-role playing
Um,
settings.
we can you can say that generally speaking, he's very, very social and proactive outside of the role playing thing. But when it's time to role
I'm, s-
play,
I'm sorry, it's just AKA Salman. Oh my God, please
yeah,
fix that.
it's not Salman though. It's not. Salman's
No?
great at role. Yeah,
Okay.
Salman's
Oh,
great.
and then you said no, actually. Sounds good. Okay.
Yep.
Can you
Yeah.
just go through the comment chain that you first,
No,
Aziz, and then
people
what
can
you
view
said?
them.
Oh, they
People
can view
can
it?
view them.
Okay.
Yeah, they can
Okay.
view it. It's just that if we want to highlight one, so everybody knows exactly the context we're
Okay.
referring to.
Sure. So it's
Um,
not Salman. I
it's
don't
not
believe.
Salman.
Sure.
Salman took 2 sessions to actually like really understand how to do it, but after that he's been great. He's just been
That's good.
following along.
So
But
this guy.
the other guy is like not very. He's very social outside of the thing, but whenever you put him in a role playing setting, he
Mhm.
like the fact that there are no mechanics to exploit and he kind of has to do everything. He's kind of the mechanic is what's
Mhm.
really playing with him, and I'm having difficulty. Um,
I
Having him
get it.
realize what he can do with the role playing mechanic.
Huh. Yeah. So it seems to me he seems to be like the power gamer type. Like, if there's a system, if there is math, I want to maximize and be the best. And you could do that in Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, I've had many discussions with people that have both annoyed and interested me about how people could do this. Um, and on it seems like, so he has no problem playing with you guys, but I guess it's just somehow a matter of preference. Like, role playing is great, playing with your friends is great, but sometimes some things just don't click with some people, and it just sounds like it just doesn't work with them. You can't force that inner emotional connection and that wonder uh, for this game. It just, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and that's fine. There really is nothing to solve or to do. It's just, that's just how it is.
Oh, so it's really a matter of just letting them figure it out on their own and just have them
Yeah,
develop that experience.
I mean, it's like, imagine you go to a restaurant and you're ordering food, and you guys all order kebab. Well, you have that one guy. While he eats pretty much everything you do, he just doesn't like kebab. What do? Shove kebab down his throat? No, you
Yes,
just
the infidel.
okay, yeah. Depending on what restaurant, I would agree with you. Like, if you go to like Kebab Ghadir, down in like manga, I will shove that down your throat. How dare you not eat one of the best kebabs in Kuwait? I had a competition with a friend and we both know food very well, and he won. And that means a lot. Kebab Ghadir manga. That's free publicity. It's closed. Keep it open, guys. Heritage of Kuwait. It's Lebanese, but like whatever. Oh, we got a new challenger approaches.
Your savior is.
You look like you just exited the crucifixion. Why do you look?
I did.
Welcome. Tell us about your troubles.
Hey, hi. Hello.
What up?
A headache. That's my troubles.
Okay, so same as usual.
I'm using Reddit for the first time, so that's cool.
You're using Reddit. I'm so sorry for you.
You've never used Reddit. I refuse to believe that you've never used Reddit. Fuck you.
I used it once. Once I posted. No. Here's the deal. It looks like Jesus with no beard. No, here's the deal. I made something and I posted it on Instagram once, which I also don't use, but I only made an account to post that thing. Then suddenly I got paranoid because I don't want anybody to steal it. So I'm like, let me post it on Reddit just to, to secure my rights for it, in case it becomes a meme. But that was my only experience with Reddit.
You tried to patent a meme?
You can easily.
Man.
No, I made it. It wasn't even a meme. It was a picture.
Right.
And by the way, if you see that picture, you're gonna love it.
Okay. Hamoud, you say Reddit is good for following subreddits you're interested in. I disagree. Reddit is shit. Reddit is horrifying. It's where the scum of the world congregate, and I despise it. It shouldn't exist. I find Discord a way better platform.
Is there anything you don't despise, Trillian? Someone asked, Trillian, what do you feel about the Salt Grinder? It's despicable. The guests are shit. The host is shit. It should not exist.
Compliment. Well, that is an honest review and a compliment.
I have never had an answer to any question I've ever had on Reddit. I go to the Reddit, maybe there's hope, and I look around, and it's always the horror, people just puking out answers, and it's always wrong. Fuck Reddit. No, I am a fervent believer in not Reddit. But tell me, what have you used Reddit for? Where did you post? Did you go to memesters, r/memesters and posted a meme? What did you do there?
Whatever I did was way less annoying than hearing you right now.
Whatever. Now, here's the thing. How many you're like, oh, join the subreddit of the game you like.
I want to...
Yeah, sorry, Arasan, what?
Yeah, I said I just want to ask Reddit and just answer the random questions for funsies.
And that's why Reddit sucks.
Reddit is verbal 9gag. You don't go there for content. You go there to waste time and possibly enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay, that I can get behind. But people use Reddit for useful stuff, and I disagree with that. You don't get something useful out of Reddit. It's just a platform you post stuff in. It's it should have been for shit posting, but for some reason it became something more.
I don't know. I think it's occasionally like anything really. With all the shit that piles up, eventually all that pressure builds, and you happen to get a tiny pearl of wisdom. I remember randomly going on this one Reddit link, and it was how it was made. It was you get to say what superpower you want, and then the first person who comments gets to put a side effect. And the best thing I have ever heard to this date is the ability to talk to fish. The side effects are, but they can talk back, They know what hurts you the most, and they're verbally abusive. Best superpower ever. The superpower to have like millions upon millions of organisms verbally beat you down to the deepest, darkest level that you can imagine.
How would that look like if I caught a salmon?
I don't know.
What would it say?
You tell me.
Move,
You know,
move the camera down. Let us see the boner.
Oh my god. No, we gotta have standards on this thing. You know, we gotta keep it PG rated.
Boner is the scientific term, dude.
Bonus.
Is it?
No, obviously not. But like, it should be. It should be.
I mean,
Boner.
I'm not against it.
Lillian, I started this joke, but you finished it.
I don't know.
You were the punchline. Thank you.
That it should be if you think about it, because one thing about the sciences is that they like the approximations terms, which make no sense and only them can understand it because nobody else gives a fuck.
I like to see this amazing comments by Hamoud. Just last one. Great.
Which one?
Last one, right there. Bring a salmon. No, last one.
Is it this
right
one?
there.
Or?
Do you know it?
Here. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. So that has to happen next time, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna bring
Bring a
you
salad.
guys a nice salmon salad I can eat in front of you guys.
No, it's a salmon and it's a fish, right? So it has to reveal one of your darkest, most terrible secrets that devastates you.
I mean, wouldn't know much. There isn't much there. I don't know. I like cookies.
That's not dark. I don't think you
That's
understand what
not-
dark is. Are you thinking Oreos?
No.
You're trying to find a loophole? Trying to find a loophole.
What?
What's my darkest
I'm not
secret? I eat Oreos.
Secret. Are you the salmon?
By the way, am I bleeding? Because like you see my teeth, there's like white and then yellow and red.
It's your camera is not
Like
that good. We won't be able to see.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like I'm bleeding on half my teeth. I like this. Yeah, let's add to it.
Why do you like it?
I don't know, just like I'm annoying Aziz with my Matrix eyes, and then I'm bleeding from half my jaw. So
Clearly prepared for a live performance. Yes.
yep. I'm gonna actually do what we talked about secretly. I'm gonna let the viewers try to find out what I'm doing right now as they look at me. Yes. Okay. I need to find a 2-hour-long video and do this. Perfect. Okay. Done.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
So
Yeah, you know what I'm doing. Everyone else.
So I have a topic for you guys, something for you guys to discuss. This was suggested by Forvid Virus. PITA has released a vegan guide to play Animal Crossing.
Could you say that again?
PITA released a vegan guide to play Animal Crossing. Discuss.
Yeah, kill 80% of
So
the
I've never
animals.
played
in
Animal
your-
Crossing. But like, don't you live with the animals? That's like the definition of like fucking vegan. You live with the animals. You don't eat them. Like how could you get more vegan than that? There's animals don't exist. Like, how does that even make sense?
I have no idea. But they released it. It exists.
Okay. Look, you know what? We got the internet here. Let's figure this out. PITA gameplay Animal Crossing. This is the best thing about doing a screen. Fuck this shit. Yeah.
Now, how would that look like?
Wow, I'm losing language. I need to switch to Slovakian.
Why would somebody make a vegan guide to a
Arasan,
video
what
game?
is your
I know my screen looks frozen, but no, I'm frozen inside.
Yeah, I'm like, was there a lag? I was trying to figure that out. Now, okay.
This is how much pain I'm in.
It's not a game, it's a guide.
Yeah, as I said, a guide. It's a vegan guide to play Animal Crossing.
Oh, sorry, I misheard. I thought you meant like a vegan version of the game, and I'm like,
No.
How did you make?
It's just, this is how you, if you're vegan, that's how you should play Animal Crossing.
Oh, you can't fish, you can't collect bugs. So basically, their idea is remove content. That's their whole idea. Remove content.
No, here's my thinking.
I can't wait.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Here's the thing. Animal Crossing is technically
What's the name of the game?
corporate slavery, right? So if you're playing Animal Crossing, you're technically a victim of capitalism, right? So how do you escape? How do you escape the bourgeoisie? Well, obviously you turn vegan. That's the first step.
Dude, I can't wait for their guide to how to play Kabila's Big Game Hunter.
Huh.
Step 1, lose the game.
What would their guide be for, like, actually, if they made a guide for, say, Call of Duty or something like that, their guide would be just play the game, right?
Well, if it's vegans, they don't give a shit. No, they would. Because if you're vegan and you kill people, less people eat meat. World War III endorsed.
That was my point. Yeah.
Yes,
that was my point.
Sense.
So
that's good.
It's only good if you're exploiting humans and killing them and using them as resources for what you want to do. Animals, no. Animals, no. You have to not fish. You can't talk to the salmon.
It's so stupid when people like try to put guides or like life hacks for things that basically boil down to, hey, you know this actual way of doing it? Don't do it. Just give up. And I'm like, then why would you even comment on an alternative way of not doing something? Just give me, like, instead of telling me, hey, don't ever do it, actually give me an instruction, give me steps, and just instead of just saying don't do it. That's nothing.
No, why would you make an ethical guide to a video game? That's the real question here.
Oh my god!
Dude, it's just PITA. It's not about Animal Crossing. Jokes aside, it's not about Animal Crossing. It's a way to raise awareness about veganism by doing this little fun, quirky thing. That's what they did to Pokemon, and people fucking roasted them to death.
What did they do to Pokemon? How do you even just like salvage that?
They posted a meme on Twitter about Wooloo.
Wooloo. Oh, the sheep? The new sheep?
It's a Wooloo with a sign next to him saying, "I'm not your Wooloo sweater." and then someone posted the same picture of Wooloo with the same sign saying, "You don't kill sheep to make wool, you retards."
Oh, I remember that.
And then someone posted the same picture of Wooloo with the sign, but on it is the statistics of how many animals they kill.
Oh, that's perfect.
Here you go.
What? That's nothing.
It's a multi-layered joke. It's so many layers.
I can debunk that, but I don't know how graphic I can. It's not about swearing. It's just about simple biology and literally explaining how sex works. And I can say that this doesn't apply to gay people; it applies more to straight people.
No. Gay people have to drink a lot of liquid. It
You know,
makes it makes Mike Pence's electric treatment much quicker.
Yeah, but like, look, if anything, gay people use lube. The water comes from outside. It's commercial. Straight people produce their own liquids in which they then, So Aziz,
See, that's why you miss the multi-layers.
you drink water, and someone else, I presume, unless
No,
it's by your own.
Darkrai has to drink water because he's stuck at home and he can't play card games, and that causes a lot of a certain substance to exert out of his system, and he needs a lot of water to wash it away.
This just gave me an interesting thought. What I like about one of the many things I like about this virus period is that every week, like on a weekly basis, almost daily, I have a moment where I realize how the world has changed, and I go, wow, that's another fun fact. That's nice. So I'm just thinking, like, imagine, like, this is probably going to go on, and, like, many people who actually know their stuff, who I cannot name, because they're pretty high up there, like, in the international sphere of the world. They say minimum 6 months for the world. Minimum 6 months. I'm serious, okay?
6 more months or 6 counting?
6 months total from February. So
from February.
We're in month 3, I guess. February, March.
Dude, want to hear a real interesting thought about the virus?
Yes.
See, we're all reading the news and how, people got sick for the virus, it spread here, it spread there. It made me think the other day, given how fast it spreads, how can you guarantee that the last time you got the common cold, it didn't come from a guy in New Zealand?
Wait. So it's not the speed.
Think about it.
The concept
Think about it.
That someone sneezed in New Zealand and I got it 2 weeks later.
Maybe someone in New Zealand slept with the window open and drinking something cold, and a week later that was how you got your cold.
How dare you attack the land of Lord of the Rings? How dare you attack Tolkien country? That's literally the only thing they have going for them. That and trees.
And sheep.
Sheep.
Or is that Australia? One or the other.
I mean, they have sheep, but like the two main things that puts New Zealand on the map, other than being on the map, is Northern Rings and trees.
Dude, it's like the New Zealand Prime Minister. They asked him, what do you feel about New Zealanders who leave New Zealand to go to Australia? It's like these people raise the IQ of both countries.
Oh man, that's good. I like that.
See, whenever politicians say something like that, a special thing in my heart pops open, and I missed a period where people can do that in modern politics. I swear.
When was that? Man, I missed out on that. When did that happen?
Dude, back when imperialism was a thing. You can shit on another country and nobody cares.
Wait, you mean like legit imperialism?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
Only the best periods.
I thought it was
now we have this
living memory of us regular mortals, but like, sorry, I presumed.
Yeah,
we still have imperialism. Just instead of the country raising its flag in new territory, it raises the McDonald's arches.
Yeah, but like, there's no bushy, like 2-inch bushy mustached military man slaughtering a bunch of people in like peaceful rally and saying, hey, who wants to apply for medical care? Come forwards.
Not yet.
Not yet. No, that might legit actually happen, possibly, depending.
Why do you think Trillian is growing his beard? Come on, people.
What? Is it like to block the bullets to the neck? Like cushion?
He wants to cosplay as an imperialist by actually killing a native.
Oh man, you know what? I could French up my mustache. Actually, I got a thing going on where like I twist it and go like, wait. Okay, so I'm gonna perfect.
You look like the Pringles guy.
Yes, you do.
I accept. Okay, see, I got a little curl on this one. Fuck.
Yeah, it's not hard to do.
God God damn it! I hate this like 3D flipping of the. Okay.
Beard stroking in decimals.
So let's fluff this bird up. Oh yeah.
Jerk off your beard.
Can you imagine someone like randomly just pulling the beard? It just goes harder. This guy's next to you. What's going on? And what would be funnier is if you actually pull on his beard harder. If you complied with the instructions he gives. That would be so funny.
Dude, if you pull someone's beard hard enough, they'll start moaning. Oh.
Oh my god. Remove your glasses, they're too annoying. Keep my glasses on? You like them? Okay, sure, yeah. Let me angle it so you get the best reflection. Thank you, Hamoud, for the suggestion.
No, here's the best thing about Hamoud, right? Hamoud is one of these guys who are so OCD is that if you have a hair like this coming out, he just can't look at your face and he'll keep bringing it up in conversation, which is very exploitable in a social context. That came out wrong.
I think, it came out just the way it needed.
Yes.
Actually,
That's the way God intended.
Great advice, grow a beard, Arasan.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Let's go and do
If I'm pointing, I got to point like... I need to
Yeah,
figure
there
this
you
out. Okay, so if I'm pointing at you, I need to point like... I will figure this out. Wait. So, yes! Grow a beard. Wow, this is really hard to figure out.
Dude, if I grow a beard, I'll look like a KKK Grand Wizard.
I don't see the issue.
Yeah, I don't see the issue either.
Hey!
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. There's something that I'm very confused with. Right? Which is, during quarantine, a lot of people are doing their shit on Tabletop Simulator, and I don't get why.
I've not actually tried it. I've seen it work before.
Hold on. Why do you not get why?
Because generally you do things because of convenience, and if something is too inconvenient, you just don't do it. There's other stuff to do.
No, they want to play the fucking game. So what?
Well, what game are
Don't
do it on tabletop. I don't care what it is. You don't do it on tabletop.
I've heard some issues about it, and I have to admit, it just looks weird, and that throws me off a bit. Like I know it's
I'm confused. Let's say, for example, you want to play a card game, and literally meeting up with your friends is illegal. So you play Tabletop Simulator to play the game you want to play. So,
but will you?
What do you mean, will you? They already do.
Yeah, I'm saying that's a great sacrifice on their end, because that thing is not as unplayable. You can't do shit with it. It's so bad.
It's called desperation, Trillian.
Yeah, well, you can be desperate by not playing the thing and doing something else for a time.
Not everyone is interested in Ottoman history, Trillian.
That's why you have, I don't know, medieval history to look at.
What the fuck?
Diversity is our strength.
How the fuck is that even like a point to make? Like someone's discussing world politics. Like, well, you shouldn't have fucked your sister last night. And I'm like, what's that gonna do with anything? I just heard.
My point is, especially with card games and board games, and by the way, this is one of the reasons why I kinda hate them.
Right.
There are a lot of people who base their entire identity on a single game. So, you take that game away from them, they can't do shit.
I don't see what the issue here is. That seems like a fact. Are we trying to preserve the lifestyle? Is this like gaming genocide we're trying to prevent? What's going on here?
No, it's very simple. All I'm presenting here is that not playing the game is a more merciful fate than playing it on tabletop. That's all I'm saying here.
Well, I mean, I have to admit, I think I would probably use Tabletop Simulator only because when I did sometimes roleplay and I do combat, I have to share my screen with my players, and literally what I do is I go to like incarnate and draw a map, and
Yeah, me too.
instead of drawing people, I have to put dots, and then for monsters I just put trees, and eventually there comes a point where it gets confusing, going which one's a tree, which one's a monster. And I've seen Tabletop Simulator; they have figures, so it has that going for them, and only for that. That's like the one thing I would actually use it for.
Yeah, maybe. But again, playing a proactive game with 4 people in one sitting on Tabletop Simulator, the physics engine is horrible. The mechanics of it is just clunky. There's zero quality of life to it, and it's very hard to actually script anything over there. And here's the thing: a lot of if you can script, for example, a board game and limit it to a certain extent, and let the player interaction do the rest. Say let's say there's dueling network online where you can play Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's entirely you have to do everything. You have to do all the steps, shuffle, and put the cards in and everything. But because it's kind of scripted, kind of molded for one game, you can use it effectively. In tabletop, there's always a button called flip the table, and everybody has an option to do it. And if you misclick it, there goes your game.
I know. I love it, but I've never used it.
Why would you do that?
Literally, I like looking
Tell him the fact it pisses you off is exactly why they put it.
Really?
Yes.
I guess.
It's exactly why I'd use it.
No, if you misclick it, that's the problem. It's so easy to click, and it's right there. There's even a shortcut for it. And it's there goes the game, I guess.
Look, the
We
reason why
spent
it
6
exists,
hours.
the reason why it exists is the same reason why genocide exists. Some people thought, hey, this could be really interesting. They didn't really see what the outcome was, and everyone's suffering for it. Exact same comparison.
Genocide is a very, very good and healthy thing to do.
No, but then later on throughout history, people started to realize, oh shit, this could theoretically happen to us. Whoopsie. They didn't see the fallback of how that could affect them. And as I talked to my friend once, we live.
I can disable the tabletop, table flip. Okay, noted.
Well, you know what? I take my analogy back because unlike genocide, genocide you can't stop from happening. It happens. But yeah.
Yeah, you can't automatically or you can't disable the option for genocide.
You can easily disable a genocide. Just deny it happened.
No, thing is, you can stop it from happening, but once it happens...
Have you been talking to Turkey by any chance?
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing with genocide, and I've thought about this, and genocide is probably really bad, if only for one point, is that once it happens, it can't be erased, it can't be stopped from happening again, because it's like you put blood in the waters, eventually they develop a taste for it. And as soon as that taste is in there, give up. The only way...
I don't know which line is worse. This is the thing about genocide, or I have already thought about this.
Look, it is the job of academics to explore humanity. It's just I like to explore the topics that make everyone else cringe and go, Khalid, we're having food, have some decorum. That's part of why I like to do things, because I like to mess around with people and make a valid point, But anyway, the point I'm making is that once a genocide starts, you have to finish it. You have to finish it, because if you leave any percentage of the population alive, you have made an enemy for life. And humans have the stupidest ability ever in which they can transfer emotions and history that you have not experienced downwards. So your parents might have suffered genocide, and then they pass that shit on to you, and you've never been through it. You live here, you swear at Indians left and right, you get free money from the government, but you constantly have that burning hatred in your heart. You're like, fuck you, Israel.
And likewise on the other side as well.
On the other side, exactly. So when a genocide starts, you gotta you either destroy everything or kill the people and finish the job of who you're trying to annihilate in the genocide, because you cannot leave people alive. It's horrible. It's terrible. It never ends. It will never end. There's always a possibility of it happening to the other side. It's just a self-destruct waiting to happen.
So you think that's how Israel's foreign policy is molded? Because technically, the entire world tried to genocide them at some point in their history. So right now, they're holding a grudge against the entire world, and that's how it's looking like.
Yeah, they learned from the best firsthand.
I'm still convinced that throughout history, killing Jews was the equivalent of fox hunting. It's like, we're bored, times are going bad. Oh, look, Jews, kill them, boys! And there's just little hunts organized.
Yeah, they are the international punching bag of the universe, right?
Exactly. It's like, oh, look, Jews over there, get my horse, wench.
Yeah, you want to let off some steams? Why go and punch a heavy bag? Just go murder some Jews.
But you see,
medieval Call of Duty.
Oh, that's good. I'd love to play that. I'll play the shit out of that. But Jews were smart. See, I like to assume, just jokingly, that Jews played the long game really well. They waited.
The word Jew is Latin for NPC.
We shall retake the servers. This is our format now. Man, that would actually be terrible. Can you imagine everyone start playing a game online and suddenly, no matter what game you play, all the NPCs start murdering you, and we all band together to win back the servers. And then there's nothing left because we kill all the NPCs. There's no game left.
Dude, it's like that question on Reddit, which is, what ability or mechanic in video games would you bring to real life if you can? And honestly, the way I think about it, wars would be so much fun if a soldier kills 7 people and they can call a tactical nuke.
Just going for kill streaks. I have to get the kill streak to win the war.
I think the logical choice has to be the ability to quick save and load. Because
that's an easy one. That's an easy one.
Exactly. No, it's the only thing you should ever pick. That or modding. Because then modding is just you become God, Mod the world.
Or you become Thomas the Tank Engine. It's a dice roll.
Or my favorite one, you make India super bloodthirsty and they just annihilate everything for fun. It's like, yeah, I want to see how the world ends. Start modding the world. I can imagine someone at their keyboard going, yeah, let's end this now.
If India's bloodthirsty, I think they'd be too busy killing each other. So the world would be safe.
They have the manpower for the job. They have enough people to spare to go off somewhere else.
No, they'd be too into killing each other. Because here's no Indian likes another Indian. I've figured that out. If they're not from the same caste, they are the enemy.
I mean, it depends on the area. If you're down south in Kerala, those guys are pretty chill. I think those guys would be prime candidates for invading through the Gulf. Because they're chill. Arabs love Kerala. They love vacationing there. I once forcibly sent there. It was the worst time of my life. I learned facts about my body that I never need to ever use, ever. Useless information. I'm not.
What?
Yeah, no. I learned how much liquid I can hold somewhere, and it's useless. It's just why would I ever need this information?
The more you talk, the more confused we are.
Yes,
that, right?
Yes, we are.
So part of I was forcibly sent to a health resort hotel stay in place for a month, and I lost shit out of weight by pretty much doing nothing and suffering. I honestly just the words they were saying to me as they rubbed oil on me and gave me drinks They're like, we need to prepare your insides. You know, we need to massage you and treat your flesh. And I'm like, are you planning to eat me? Like, what's going on? Are you slow cooking me? You're like, you gotta base my insides as well as the outside? What's going on here?
They're preparing you as a virgin sacrifice to Pakistan.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, they shipped me over up and yeah. And then on the last days, you know, we had to get enemas. So I learned that I can hold a liter of water, and I'm still not at maximum capacity. So, fun fact.
Why were you sent there exactly? Like, I don't understand the context.
It's a very complex social construct called "Dad says, so you do it."
Oh, but why there though? Like, out of all the places in the world, there must be a reason.
Yeah, because he went there and he likes it, so he's like, go there. And I suffered horribly. Like, it was the worst physical experience of my life.
How old were you?
It was last year. Yeah,
That's why you disappeared off the map for like a couple of months.
No, that was because of World of Warcraft. That happened.
Did you start the Corona epidemic by any chance?
Yeah, by holding a grudge.
No, that's not my Judgment Day punishment that I'll put on the world. That's not my brand. I don't do biological warfare.
Okay. Now I'm curious. You have to say what your vision of the apocalypse is.
Well, I mean, I've never actually put thought into that specifically, like how I would end the world. I thought more personal levels, like how I would end specific people. But if I had to end the world in my way, first, I've always had this thought that I want to invade Saudi Arabia during Ramadan. By the way, now's the perfect time to invade Saudi Arabia. So if anyone wants to do it, you need to go in now because Ramadan, coronavirus, during prayer time. Perfect. Okay, you will not have a better chance. Okay, and I've thought about it because I thought, like, you know, with the religious police, like, why would you force people to leave their work and necessary things and force them to pray? And I imagine they do this to the army as well. So I just always had the theory that, like, maybe it's actually really easy to invade Saudi Arabia. And I just want to know if that's true or not. It's more a theory, you know?
No, it's very easy to invade Saudi Arabia, not for any of those reasons. It's very easy to invade Saudi Arabia because they're Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, true.
If Yemen can do it, you can do it too. It's very simple.
Yeah, you know, there's an actual famous story, and like this thing, and people cover this up, that Mecca was captured by a bunch of radicals in, let's call them radicals, most British word I can think of. And they held it for like a week. And just we learned about this in university, and it was like, it happened in like the 70s or 80s, which was the period of Arabian fuck-ups. Like it's a whole, the 80s and 70s was like a whole compilation bloopers of the worst fuck-ups I've ever been. Like Syria built a cement factory on the beach, and they pour the waste onto the beach. Or Lebanon makes a paper making factory, and they learned, oh shit, it's more expensive to make it. Let's just stick to buying it from overseas. So the crowning jewel of this time period was when the Kaaba was taken by these guys who believed that they had, one of their people was the Mahdi, and they're like, let's retake the Kaaba, and they hid their weapons in coffins under the guise of, hey, our relatives died, can we bring them in under? They're like, yeah, sure, we don't need to check them. No metal detectors, don't worry. So they let them in, they took their guns, they took the place, and for a week, all of Saudi Arabia, like their police and their like army forces tried to take it back. There are so many fun things about this. Was that, number one, the U.S. embassy in Riyadh knew about it in real time, faster than the police. Yes. Two, one of their attempts to go in was they tried to throw mustard gas inside. With mustard gas, and they tried, to blind them and hurt their eyes, disable them. Problem is, with the way the winds were blowing, it blew out of the Kaaba and into the rest of the city. So they gassed the city. And this went on for a week. So what happens is like they ask for aid outside.
Yep.
What is the aid? France sends 3 guys in to be experts and to teach them what to do, and they then retake it.
Actually,
And-
like from what I've heard, like the way they took it back was like the easiest and honestly the most logical way to do it. They killed the guy they thought was the Mahdi, so the whole prophecy fell down. So the
Yeah.
morale went.
Yeah, and the main
Who knew,
guy
right?
who started this, like the leader of these guys, his last words were roughly translated into, "If I knew it was gonna happen like this, I wouldn't have done it."
Yeah, because you'd expect like a revolution all across the world flocking to your aid, but what happens is like everybody looking at each other is like, but مجبوس though, and
What?
you know, because war is difficult. Like here's the thing, I always like pictured this, like everybody is scared of this, like of somebody, like the reason the Islamic world doesn't have a figurehead like the Pope is because everybody's terrified that that authority figure would declare a jihad and suddenly like all these Muslims would flock to a banner of sorts. But in my experience,
Pretty sure that is not the reason.
What do you think is the reason then?
That's interesting.
There's nothing in the faith that says this thing should happen. I thought that's very different. That's very different because
that is the military and religious figurehead of Islam.
Yeah, but keep in mind, there's nothing like, from my experience, Aziz is in the comments, he can correct me. There is no hadith or any part in the holy book that says that by design in a religion there should be a khalifa. It was more of a political decision. So it's not like, you know, the Catholic faith will fall down if they don't have a pope. That we don't have the same thing in Islam. Unless it's about Shiite Islam.
No, actually, if you think about it, the Catholic faith is much the same. That's why they had multiple popes. But that's besides the point. They have a religious figurehead that the Catholics follow, and the reason it's in everybody's interest that is not Muslim to keep the schools segregated is because if there is a figurehead, boom, anything can happen. And in their thoughts, they would declare a jihad, right? And if they do, what can we do against it? That's 2 million of the population, or 2 billion of the world population, if not more. And if only 10% of them flock to that jihad banner, everybody's fucked. But here's the thing. I always fantasize of if that were to happen, and jihad be declared, only like Indonesia and some of India would like go, you know, like 50 people would like flock, like the Area 51 raid, right? And all the Arabs would be like, not really. Because we have food.
Dude, Gavandi man is like borders are better.
Yeah.
There are only 2 borders.
That is the first time I've seen a Muslim Marxist.
No, there are plenty of them. There are plenty of them. I don't know how they managed to reconcile these two sides, but people find a way to add Marxism to anything. You know, cleaning your toes, there is a Marxist way to do it.
And the boldest thing they added Marxism to is our college curriculum.
Nice.
Dude,
both of you,
you were with me in the same college and in the same major. Have you, dude? You know there is no alcohol in Kuwait, but honestly, if you take a shot every time they mention Marx in class, do you think your liver will survive?
Okay, one, there is alcohol in Kuwait. You just have to know how to find it. And I do.
Legal alcohol.
Give it a few years after this Corona thing happens. The island they're building,
False.
alcohol will be legal there
False.
for sure. For sure,
False.
the island, they will legalize alcohol only in that area, only because they need people to come in and like Kuwait. Because that's the one thing people complain about.
Actually, we discussed this in class, and the opinion I held in class, it was a music class, weirdly enough, but
Okay.
given the trends that are happening, surprisingly, as Saudi Arabia gets more liberal, Kuwait is getting more conservative.
Are we?
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, expand, please.
As Saudi Arabia is getting more concerts and all of that and expanding on their tourism, Kuwait is having a panic about the same things. And the simplest example I can give is the concert thing, where Saudi Arabia wanted to bring Nicki Minaj, and in Kuwait they banned a K-pop band. It seems the trend is that as Saudi Arabia gets more liberal due to King Mohammed bin Salman.
Is he a king yet? Did the guy die?
I keep referring to him as King Mohammed bin Salman because who are we kidding? Kuwait is getting more conservative.
No, but here's the thing. Kuwait has a pattern where if Saudi Arabia does something, Kuwait waits like 3 years, and then they kind of do it too. They kind of have to, right? So how would that pattern reconcile? Like, even if Kuwait gets more conservative, the politics of Kuwait is kind of like looking over their neighbors, and they're like, okay, how do we not piss off our neighbors and give them no excuse to attack us? One of the biggest neighbors they have to look out for is Saudi Arabia. So how would that look like?
You don't please Saudi Arabia by becoming more liberal. The problem with Kuwait and why I think they won't have alcohol, getting alcohol is a move made by governments, by Muslim governments who want to expand their tourism. And a lot of Arabic countries already built their tourism infrastructure, including Saudi Arabia. Kuwait has fallen behind. They don't even have the tourism infrastructure. Alcohol won't help tourism, so they won't do it. If you see Kuwait building the tourism, then we can predict that this will happen. But
I don't think we can do that. It's too hot over here.
For the tourism, it's only specifically for like if you have a wave of contractors from like Korea or something, and you want to entertain them and just build like friendly relations, or like you have political functions where you bring in the ambassador or someone to you bring them to the island they're building, and you have it there specifically. It's literally you're making a secret party house that's members only. That's what it is.
This already happens in Kuwait, but that didn't change any laws.
But then see, it will also be technically commercially sold to these people. See, that's the interesting thing. It's like you can only get alcohol from this place, but you can also buy it from this place. And the interesting thing about this is they will make it commercial, and they probably have some special things for it and special licenses, probably heavily government monitored. But the really interesting thing about this is that when that happens, people will find ways to smuggle it into the rest of the country. And that would happen. That immediately would happen. The first month.
Again, except this already happens. There are, from what I've heard, there are supermarkets that do sell alcohol for American troops. But if you want to get alcohol, you have to show your ID. And if you're Kuwaiti, they won't give you anything. So it already exists. And they tell these customers, don't talk about it.
Wait, if they're telling the customers don't talk about it, then it's not strictly legal then. Because
it's not that it's not legal. It's more of a.
It's more of a. It is legal, but it's like the police is batting their eyes because of troops and all of that and the embassy. So they let them do their thing. They're like, just don't talk about it. We won't bother you, but don't sell it to Kuwaitis.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
That's what I've heard. This is all allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay, Gabandi man, you present a point here, which is I say bamboos and allow weed. What do you guys think?
Ban booze and allow weed.
No, heavily disagree for one reason, and only one reason.
Okay.
Booze, you just need to drink it once, and you understand how it works. You understand the negative side effects, at least physically. You know, in your relationships and socially, that's another thing. But I'm saying, if you drink booze, you know exactly what it is. Weed is far more complex because not everyone reacts to the same strains as everyone else. You have to understand, medicine, biology. You have to be trained to understand what strains some people should take, sativa versus indica. This, you need to actually be really educated for this. If we allow weed in, then people are going to abuse it. They won't know what's going to happen. It's just going to be the meth thing all over.
Except here's the deal. There are many strains of weed.
Yeah.
You know, like there are like 5 strains of weed.
Yeah.
Not gonna kill you, not gonna kill you, not gonna kill you, not gonna kill you, and not gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So, like, one can easily make the argument that even if you don't know what to expect with weed, none of it can kill you. So,
I'm not talking about killing you. I'm talking about like negative side effects of you having, like, you take one strain that's supposed to calm you down, and you get like an anxiety attack, and like you go crazy.
Yeah,
and then imagine
recreational side effects.
Yeah, and we're talking about Kuwait here, where people do not believe that mental health and people who have actual disabilities exist. And here, someone with mental disabilities is a fucking unicorn. Like, what?
No,
that's a real thing?
No,
my cousin's a unicorn?
Here's the deal. Besides the religious arguments for allowing booze in Kuwait, and besides the cultural elements, and besides the logistical elements, I'll tell you the number one reason why Kuwait is nowhere near ready for booze.
Do tell.
People crash their cars like drunk driving is legal in Kuwait. Think about it for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Kuwait don't have a responsibility culture, especially when it comes to driving.
Cool. Actually, that was the thing that I was going to argue why you shouldn't allow weed either, at least not right now. And the main reason is because I don't think the people here are ready for any sort of responsibility in their vices. They don't know how.
But then again, I did hear the arguments that the reason we're not responsible is because we're inexperienced. You know, it's the same argument for non-segregation between the genders. Oh, you should segregate the genders because males are vicious in the Middle East. Well, a lot of people argue that males are vicious because they're not exposed to females. So, I don't know.
I see the logic in that, but here's the thing. If you're using that and applying it to booze and or weed, you're basically saying, hey, here's a population that while they have the full mental restraint and capabilities they would every day and don't have responsibilities, let's get them drunk off their asses and then see if they learn responsibilities. Or high.
No, here's the deal. Usually the people who argue that, not me, and I'm not saying this just to alleviate myself from the argument, because I really didn't even think about it enough. There's a lot of logistics to go through. Again, whenever I think about booze or weed and the legality, I only think in political and logistical terms. But regardless of that, I imagine the people who would argue that are not necessarily arguing to allow it all at once. if you allow anything at once, it will create a cultural shock and problems with the police. Usually the argument goes along with making it gradual. So I don't know.
No, here's my thing.
Okay.
Here's my thing. Personally, like I lean way more towards anarchism than anything else, right? So, generally speaking, if things like alcohol, weed, and whatever will affect the culture negatively, if you allow them, I say, well, it's time for the culture to mature. Have a 20-year period where everything's fucked, and then after those 20 years, we're fine. And one of the things I always argue is, of course, public schools, they have to be mixed, right? And the reason for that is, okay, you start them off young, you start at elementary, and you go with them mixed, and in 20 years, the people would be used to a mixed environment, and there'd be way less tension between the sexes, at least in our country. And the reason people say you can't do that is because chaos will occur. And I'm like, yeah, we need some chaos for any change to happen anyway. That would be my own personal view on it. Is it the most practical way? Probably not.
Yeah, I disagree, honestly. Again, just looking at it purely from a logistical standpoint and an anthropological standpoint.
Fuck you. I have an anthropology major, bachelor's, so I can say fuck you on that. Okay, we are cousins of the same hell. So
yeah, well, guess what? Shoma looked me in the eyes and said, "You need to become a professor." So I got the Shoma seal of approval.
You would choose.
Removes credibility. That removes credibility because it's Shoma. No, I like how you're trying to do it.
Yes.
I will allow it. I will allow it. Please continue.
Yes, but keep in mind, nothing pleases Shoma. So.
Okay.
Anyway,
motion passes. Please continue.
Yeah. So it's like Trillian is saying that is a sacrifice that needs to be made. We need chaos, so the people learn. Yeah. For what? What's the price? For what? Think of yourself as a government. Don't think of yourself as a citizen. If you want to drink or you want to smoke, think as a government. What are they gaining by this chaos? And not only that, but looking at Kuwait again from an anthropological standpoint, you can't just create chaos by increasing the entertainment value of the country without increasing the responsibility factor of the country. So you want to allow, you want to remove segregation. You want to allow alcohol. You want to allow weed. You know where you start? You normalize young people taking jobs and low-paying jobs and non-office jobs.
Reduce the entitlement factor and increase the responsibility factor.
The boomers in Kuwait had the genius idea to increase the responsibility of the youth by doing the mandatory military service, which is the dumbest thing that, I can simulate 5 boomers and they would only come up with that conclusion. You want to increase the responsibility factor, normalize taking normal jobs. And honestly, this is why I'm thankful for Corona. If you go to the supermarket, you see a lot of young Kuwaitis volunteering. Maybe it helps normalizing taking, low-paying jobs, low prestige jobs. That's what teaches you responsibility, not military service. Trust me, these guys in the military service are fucking.
Actually, let me ask this, because that's been a topic in my mind, which is that generally speaking, a nation is known as a nation because they have a peoples who share some sort of cultural identity together, a certain set of values, right? Germany's their efficiency and dedication, the U.S. their freedom and their ability to be free, etc., and that's stupidity and the American dream and all that. There are a couple of cultural identities that define what a nation is, And I don't think Kuwait has matured into that. And therefore, a lot of its growth, wherever it happens in like random directions that don't really define any real identity. And would you say that a cultural identity in this case would be necessary before any steps would be taken for growth, say, to increase the responsibility and all that?
And that is the problem. That is actually a very major problem, because I mentioned that in an anthropology class. The question was, which population in Kuwait you think is the most victimized? And my answer was the Bedouin, for multiple reasons. One of them is that they don't have the backing. You can easily say expats, but they always have their own countries. They have the embassies. They still are technically at a better position than the Bedouin. But then the question was, why do you think they're being discriminated against? Why do you think that we can, they don't get the nationality? And I mentioned the reason that I think is that Kuwait, for the longest time, is very paranoid. Like I said, that the culture of Kuwait, the identity of Kuwait is very exclusionist. And the reason for that is because they're paranoid. They're surrounded by multiple big established countries. They're relatively a new country. A lot of people have claims on it. A lot of people can easily claim it from the days of the Ottomans, and then Iraq, and then the worry about Iran, and then Saudi Arabia. So Kuwait is very paranoid about, we are Kuwaiti. We are not Iraqi. We are not Ottoman. We're not Saudi Arabian. We are Kuwaiti. And because of that, they don't want to dilute the identity. So they're panicking. So it's like, were you at the fucking, which side of the wall were you in at that year? Like the identity got reduced to that much. So there is an identity panic in Kuwait. I have to say that. And yeah, that panic, that paranoia does make the culture very exclusionist. Even when it comes to the laws, even the conservatism that's happening, I think it all stems from that paranoia.
Yeah, which is why I proposed it. And the question here, of course, is, well, can we find a way to actually mature an identity here? Or is it one of these things that kind of are impossible to actually consciously do?
I don't think it's impossible. No, I don't think it's impossible. It needs a lot of work, and work across multiple years. And a leader who is not only a politician, but a showman. But if you play it like showbiz, you can create an identity. You can create a brand.
Because here's the thing. I've been thinking about this, and I've been thinking, what makes Kuwait Kuwait? Like, what would be a good pick for a Kuwaiti identity? And the answer I came up with is so contrary to its current state that no wonder we have an identity crisis. And one of the things that if you look at Kuwaiti history and you look at how they came up to be and what the people were like, they were always categorized by their strife and their ability to overcome that strife. They always were struggling with something, to go for pearls, border disputes, get the British in there, protect yourself, preserve yourself, and blah blah blah. It always has a thematic theme with strife. And then I look at this current Kuwait that we are in, and the strife for the people has been reduced substantially to the point where people kind of don't know where they're at anymore. It's almost as if they lost an element of themselves and they cannot focus that strife for something more productive or something new. And even the people who are trying to get out of it are categorized by their strife. The people who want, for example, make their own business or be a painter or not be one of the classic 3 jobs that the Kuwaitis like for prestige. The reason they're categorized and admired is because of their strife towards their goal. It's as if people are venerating them because of their strife, and they don't want to encourage them because that would remove the strife factor.
Actually, wait, you want to say something, Alak?
Yeah, no, I got something for this. Okay, so you see, the thing is, in that questioning and that line of thinking, you were looking at Kuwait, and I felt like the focus of that train of thought was the people. You know, the people who make up the nation. You know, literally who live in the area. I think the mistake was, and which is why you have that question, is that you forgot one of the integral, if not the most integral player, the government. See, I think a great analogy just came to me, and it's good for it applies to what we talked about before, is that the government is the dungeon master, and the people are the players. Now, Kuwait was going in a direction. No, this works. Just wait, okay. Kuwait was going in a direction. You know, there was constant struggle, triumph, more struggle, some triumph, but there was, they created a group and solidarity together. And then later on, with the oil wealth and like making a formal government, the direction of the story of Kuwait went in a different direction, and now you're thinking like, okay, so what is the direction of Kuwait? What is the struggle? It's everyone's fragmented into different places. I think this is a popular thought, that what the government does, and it's quite smart, is that it has to manage opposition, both internationally and internally. Now, the government is terrified of its people. They really are. Because, just the bribe money alone that we get every month is literally a silent deal that we
bribe money.
No, it is, because the history of it is, we get money every month for all the oil, and in consent, in return, we give our silent consent and we shut up and stop rioting. That's why, pretty much people love this place, because holy shit, I get free money. I'm not going to complain about shit, and all the problems that came from it is just interesting systems that were either put intentionally or unintentionally by the government. Dungeon Master and the people. Where am I going with this? I forgot. What's the question? Just give me the question again.
Cultural identity.
Yeah, the cultural identity. There is a clash in cultural identity. There's the 2 million people who live here who are, Kuwait nationals, like the Arabic people or whatever. And then there's all the expats, and then there's all the waves of people who lived in Kuwait for quite a long time who should have nationality and don't. These people are being played against each other, because if they argue with each other, then no one will usurp the power of the DM. And I kind of do this myself in a strange way with my group. So you see where I'm going with this? Got the government and their role and how they play off people. You see now with the quarantine, after the Arabic Spring, the Arab Spring, there was a rise in social media presence and awareness campaigns, and the government was trying to show visibility, saying, hey, these are the amazing things that we did. Here's a whole Instagram page full of them. Even now, I look at their Instagram and the videos they're doing it, and it pisses me off to say this. They do their job really good. Not talking about the actual thing they do to help the country. I'm purely talking about, it's amazing. It's not even propaganda. They're literally just showing, this is literally what we're doing. Here are our safety precautions. We will advertise this on a daily basis. Here you go. Why? Because I gotta keep the people happy. If there's one thing Kuwait knows how to do, and by that I mean the powers that be, they know how to keep being the powers that be. So a lot of your questions about Kuwait can be answered by also looking at the ruling powers, because they have a hand in it.
Personally, if I want to tell you the best direction that Kuwait needs to take when it comes to its identity, I can think of 2 main directions. The first direction, funny enough part of it, but that's not the main point. Kuwait needs to go. I disagree with you that what was integral to the identity of Kuwait was strife. I don't think that was an integral part of its identity.
All right.
The integral part of Kuwait's identity, anthropologically speaking, is the concept of family. Not only like my family, your family. If you look at the system of Kuwait, it's all organized in familial terms. You have the families that are, the rich people. Even the Emir of Kuwait, we refer to him as a father figure, even in our language. The concept of family is integral to Kuwait, even more so than, a lot of politicians in the US, the family unit, it's an anthropological reality in Kuwait. Everything is organized based on family. I think they dropped the ball as soon as they introduced this whole thing. What nationality do you have? Do you have a stronger one or a weaker one, and all of that? It needed to be capitalized on in a good way, not the families, but the concept of family, organizing the entire society by capitalizing on the concept of family. The second thing is that Kuwait should have focused on what it was before the invasion. If you want another integral part of of Kuwait's identity, the Pearl of the Gulf, the most liberal country in the Gulf, we were the Egypt of the Gulf. We had literature, we had music, we had art, we had ideas, books. We were pioneers of introducing ideas to the Gulf. But somehow we kind of passed that torch to Dubai and Qatar, which is a bad idea. Even though Qatar and Dubai didn't, even in the 21st century, they're not doing it as good as Kuwait did back in the day. They shouldn't focus on tourism. They should focus on liberalism, not American liberalism, but liberalism as Kuwait was. And the way to do it right now is, funny enough, out of all the Gulf countries, if you think about it, Kuwait is the most open to the West. That is something they should capitalize on. That will be the renaissance of the Pearl of the Gulf. They should focus intellectually and culturally. And of course, right now it's difficult because influences from Big Brother in the South, which gets into parliament, funny enough. But honestly, to me, these are the two integral things that can define Kuwait as a separate unit. Pioneers in culture and intellectualism, and the family unit.
Would you say that my idea of strife links to or is a smaller part of the family unit analogy?
It technically
strife is a part of it. It's not the core idea. The core idea is we don't care where you came from. Right now you are part of this family, which is something revolutionary for how Kuwait is right now. But if they went for that direction, they can pull it off easily. There's already the infrastructure for it, anthropologically speaking. They can actually be kind of like the US, which is wherever you came from, you're part of this family now.
Yeah. I've always argued.
They can pull it off.
We're a micro US, technically.
All what you need, anthropologically speaking, is the infrastructure, and it's already there.
Can you say the word one more time?
Speaking. What word?
Which one?
You know which word. Just say it one more time.
Anthropologically speaking.
Yeah, say it just one more time.
Anthropologically speaking.
Oh, okay, I'm good. I'm so close, but I needed that one punch. So I'm like, okay.
Dude, every time I say anthropologically speaking, I hear Shoma in the distance saying, "What are your sources?"
Oh my god.
Oh, was she one of these bitches who, whenever you say anything, it's like you have to cite every source? Like, in a presentation, you're like, as Appian said, citation needed. Chapter 5.
Sorry,
I went to the bathroom. What are your sources?
Just horrible. I did not enjoy with her whatsoever. None.
I don't think anybody did, and I think it like I think you guys celebrate, like everybody in the world celebrated when Shoma left Kuwait, except the country that Shoma moved into. Everybody was happy. You know?
Oh no. The country that takes her.
I never told you this. I told Trillian, but I never told you this.
Ooh.
Shoma was the reason I legitimately contemplated dropping out.
I believe that.
Yes. And then the semester I thought about dropping out, I got the email that she left, and I'm like, this is a sign from God.
Wait a minute. The anthropology department has only 2 people who are actually
and now it has 1.
Wow.
But they keep bringing part-time guest professors just to cover some things. Right now we have anthropological archaeology classes.
The funny thing is, the one guy they have left is like it's the worst scenario. That guy is the only guy who's like actually knows his shit. Wow, nothing's done.
Dude, wait, what do you mean?
He's a bit of a wreck, and by a bit I mean quite a bit.
He's awesome.
Yes, his teaching is quite good, but him as a person, he is a complete wreck. Should not get married. Should have not had a kid. I don't even know how he's managing knowing the guy in that way. Like I'm to this day, I'm just counting every time I go to his Instagram because I like it's like a running bet I have with myself. When does it end? I wonder when he ruins things with his complete depressive and like horrible like mental health. Just
Does he do his job though? That's the important context here.
Yes, it's the one thing he does. It's the one thing he does. It's like one of the 3 things he does, including day-to-day chores like shitting and brushing your teeth, teaching, and occasionally hitting on students.
Now here's the thing.
Dude, he told me a major secret that I can only tell you in private.
That's for later. No, I know what you're going to talk about. Put it on the side.
Yeah.
Put it on the side. Now,
Okay.
Here's the thing. And Shoma is an interesting thing, which is why I want to bring it up. If I was taught by Shoma would hate me, right? Because I took one social sciences class in my college career, and the professor had an active competition against me throughout the whole class, to the point where when she asks a question, she looks at me because she knows everybody else is a coward, and at least this guy talks. I won't agree with what he says, but at least he talks, right? And he talks and makes legitimate good points. So I can see Shoma with her like overexertion of and bully mentality, like I'm gonna bully you into being a good student type of thing, and I can see myself shitting all over it. And the reason I'm saying this is I wonder why literally nobody in your college did. Not a single student had
I'll tell
the
you
balls.
why. I'll tell you why. It comes down to a disadvantage. Like you said, the anthropology department in our college only has 2 professors. You're bound to see Shoma sometimes 2 times a semester, each semester.
Mm-hmm.
If you get in bad terms with her, you may not graduate.
And by the way, the head of a department is a child psychologist.
Oh yeah, but now he's no longer the head.
Oh really? Wait, is it
Yeah.
is it that guy, the one guy who's left? Are you serious?
Yeah, he is the head now because he's the only one. Imagine being the head of a department because you're the only professor.
Yeah, imagine being the head of a department with 2 guys who are anthropologists and you're the child psychologist.
Actually, no. That's a fun fact.
What?
There's a reason I hate the style of Shoma's teaching.
Okay.
The other professor, one time in class, he was talking to us, and he's like, I'm the only anthropologist in this university. Shoma is a media major. She's not even an anthropologist.
True.
And a lot made sense. A lot made sense all at once.
You start to think, oh, that's why everything we do is about TV. It makes sense.
Yeah. Everything is about Bollywood, Everything is about TV, and everything is about theory. We don't even do field work.
If
You know,
I
that's
have to
actually
do another
hilarious
paper,
thing.
yeah, go on.
Like back in the day where Kuwait University staff was less, certain doctors can apply to teach different subjects outside of their major as long as it's close enough. So we had a civil engineering professor, very, very well versed, very, very decorated, right? And he was like, I miss teaching programming. And we were like, what? He's like, back when we were understaffed, like I can apply to teach programming. And the way I did it is I just researched all the material, made a curriculum, and then started teaching it, right? And back then it was fine because we were understaffed. And and basically what he was suggesting here or implying is that if you're going to teach something outside of your major as a professor, you can do that, but you must dabble into the new major and kind of major in it in a way, at least in the subject you're teaching. So what Shoma should have done, if she's teaching anthropology, is she should have actually dabbled and explored the anthropology, not bring her own expertise into this new subject. That is not how it's worked.
Dude, she changes the books 3 times mid-semester.
Oh, in my
Yeah.
experience, she just usually gives one of her books and we read it like back to front. I mean, I never actually read it, but yeah.
Of course, nobody does.
Dude, she gave us a book once. I swear you cannot read this thing. I swear you cannot read it.
What is it called?
You know that meme where it starts with, it is what it is, and then it keeps getting more complicated, the same.
Right. I get
I
it.
am a species of the Homo sapien. That was the book, the last panel. Dude, that book was a nightmare. That book. Yeah, let's change the subject, please.
Okay, sure. Moving away from Shama, Hassan here is asking a question. How is Ramadan treating you guys?
Oh, well, I saw it and I got perfect.
Treating me great.
So basically, I don't have to work. I'm mandatorily stuck in my room, and I get to order food way before, like normally, and I can hide the food in my house. How do you think I'm doing? I'm doing great.
Okay.
Yeah, I got ashjaz today ordered at like 12 a.m. I'm doing great.
Dude, I only realized it's Ramadan at like day 5.
It's like, oh shit, something's happening now. What's going on? Oh,
here's been my experience. All I did was I altered my sleep schedule in such a way that my breakfast becomes, well, literally when I break the fast. So I just cheated the system in that way. Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody does that. We're pretty chill. I do want to do that. Like, there's one thing that I would have liked to do, but I can't right now because of the quarantine. Is doing a job, like having a job in Ramadan, is actually really fun, according to everybody who doesn't. And anybody who takes a vacation during Ramadan time is an idiot, because you do nothing. The work is less, like the work hours are less, and all you have to do is just do nothing because everybody knows it's Ramadan. They want to like nothing will happen. Basically,
Sure.
and so you're literally getting paid to sit in the office for less hours than usual, and you get the same amount of pay.
You talk like you don't already get paid just to sit in the office.
No, I do some work,
But it's even better.
but it's even better.
It's like someone changed the difficulty from easy to very easy.
Yep. It's exactly like that. Thank you for that analogy.
Like, how could you complain?
Dude, even back in my college days, a Ramadan semester is the best semester ever, especially if it's in the finals. I always have it, and during my period, it's always happened during a summer course, and I take the most difficult subject at summer, the subjects you never want in summer, because they're just so difficult, and you have to do it in a congested period, and because it's Ramadan, all the professors are like, they cut you slack, right? Because they know, it's because you can't focus. It's not because you guys are dumb. And I milk that. And then I just pass with like a C- or a B- or something. And I do zero work. I love it. I love Ramadan semesters. They're the best.
I can imagine someone role-playing and dressing up as Oliver Twist and coming in his coffee like, I haven't had much to eat, sir, or drink. And he goes in all sick and everything. And he's like, oh, man, I feel bad for this guy who apparently looks like a Victorian-era chimney sweeper.
Except it will never work this Ramadan, because if you cough, they're just going to spray you with like...
Oh, yeah, no. So, like, it's the new terrorism. Is when you go into an area and you look around, you go... and just everyone starts going crazy. New age terrorism.
No, dude, I can't imagine the first week after the quarantine. Like, how will it look like?
See, I thought about this, and I think
Yes?
the worst thing, for me, the only actual other bad thing, other than the Korean restaurant thing, is you have so many people in Kuwait ignore issues about mental health. You know, they have a cousin or like a relative who genuinely needs help, who might be a stunted 37-year-old who's actually just a 16-year-old brat who's never worked a day in their life. And the family enables them, and all these systems that were in place or not in place even, to help them and to continue the problem, to make it chronic. And then it passes on through generations. Now, you have these people stuck at home, off their fix, off the thing that kept them working normally, and they're stuck in cages like caged tigers being shipped across the sea for 6 months. I'm generally worried what happens when they let the cage open and all of these people flood outwards. Like the damage is going to have on these people. Some people will flip right back into normal, but like there's going to be a huge population of people in here, and even the world, that will get fucked, and I don't want to be there to see that. Like,
I want to be there to see that.
Like, I want to be there,
that's the fun
but
part.
not in it. I want to see it, but not in it. I want to see it on a TV screen, not when I go out to get a restaurant, to a restaurant, and like 2 people are trying to rape each other because they don't know how to handle intimacy because they were stuck having sex with the same people for 6 months.
What?
I imagine. Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like married couples.
What?
Like,
Okay, what?
No, because think about it. All the married couples.
God,
Okay,
what?
think about all the people who can't cheat on their spouses anymore. They gotta have sex with their actual spouses and or significant others for 6 months minimum. That's a feat. That is a huge feat. And not have all the other things to compensate and to keep them sane. Think about it. Like, this is the
out
time.
of all the things.
Given how you talk, I'd say the keyword here is feet.
What? You mean actual feet? Like, are
I
you
get
saying
it.
fetish? They need a new fetish?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for explaining the joke.
Thank you. I don't know if I didn't say it. But no, it's a serious issue. Like, now is a great time to understand and to see how fucked up you really are, and to learn from it and to become a better person. But we all know that's not going to happen. It's going to be a fuckfest.
No,
Literally, metaphorically.
No, to me, I'm thinking about, there are a lot of, there's a huge culture for Kuwaiti dads, and dads in general, but Kuwaiti dads specifically in this particular case, to leave the kids for most of the day, right?
Yep.
Your interaction with the kids is like 2 hours, max. Then you get burned out and you leave. Now you spend 6 months with your kids. Forcibly. What happens when you get out? I assume some people will get closer to their kids and communicate more.
We're gonna have a homeless kid epidemic.
Oh, man.
Or that. And I'm curious just how the dynamics change, because my house is big enough that I can distance myself when needed, and the same can go for all my family members. But if you have a 6-year-old or a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, this is the worst time to have them, because you're stuck with them. You can't take a break.
Here's a tip I'm gonna give to all viewers.
Right?
If you have severe depression, you think nothing matters, you want to end it all, but you don't want it to be painful, you're kind of scared. As soon as the corona thing ends, just go to the avenues.
That
you will be trampled.
Quicker than falling asleep.
That probably will happen, honestly. Like, I'm actually worried about the mental health, But if I'm being realistic, they will just go back to the
Hamoud's like, I just came back with a minute break, and the first thing I hear is feet.
And that
Yes,
wasn't
welcome
even
to the
the
Salt.
most, and that wasn't even the most outrageous thing. You just heard the lower end of that one.
Yes.
Second.
It's beautiful to me that just imagining how the avenues will people trample each other. I really fucking hope so. I want to see that. I won't go to the avenues. I almost never do. But I just want to see the people getting trampled. It excites me. You know?
Here's the thing. We're assuming
Yes.
that, metaphorically speaking, that the governments will open all the cages all at once. I don't think they'll do that. They will do it in stages and in steps. They'll probably still have a curfew on, but like extended, and then maybe later on they'll say, okay, now public gatherings are allowed, but still curfew. They need to do it in stages, which I think they will do, because they've been on top of everything so far.
Dude, even if they do, the government has been efficient. Even if they do, the reason the government needed to be so efficient, I argued this a few streams back, is because the population wasn't ready, and they needed all this to actually stop them from spreading it too fast. And we're still kind of spreading it fast.
Seriously, guys, what are we even discussing? Like, if the law enforcement can handle National Day, they can handle the...
No,
Fuck
it's
you.
not.
You're saying National Day can compete with how the world is reacting to this?
No, fuck National Day.
No,
fuck National Day.
the day the
I want to
quarantine finishes, like
Yeah.
the law enforcement already handles National and Liberation Day. We'll be fine.
No, nothing will happen to us, but some people will get trampled, and that excites me.
Okay, so now it's the turn for someone else. Wait. It's for someone else to seem inhumane. First it was me with genocide. Now it's Trillian with trampling people in avenues.
Just picture it. Armies, literal armies in the avenues, and then just one kid, okay? One kid with his mom. He gets separated, he's confused, and then, I don't know, a fashionista somewhere appears, right? And everybody gets excited, they start running, and then the kid
Dude, let me
pavement.
let me give you one that's even better.
Okay.
That's my wet dream. That's how I cream my pants at night.
Okay.
Finally, the curve flattens. They remove the quarantine. People flood the streets in celebration. And then Corona phase 2 hits. Yum. Yum.
It's like you just beat level 1. Here's level 2, bitches.
This isn't even my final form. Oh, dude, that'd be awesome. Imagine. I can imagine the streets, the reduced traffic. I can imagine it. Just half the population gone, and all the people with like the common sense to stay are the ones who keep breathing. Oh, beautiful.
Oh my god, you apocalyptic, nihilistic, hateful human being. I approve of that imagery. If not in practice, I approve of the imagery.
Oh, dude, if that happens, I'm not going to be sad. I'm going to... Putting it right here. You guys can keep that. If it happens and people come to me and it's like, you said this was good. Look at all the pain and suffering. And I'm like...
just sipping your wine glass. When alcohol gets legalized, you're sipping your wine glass. Yes, let's observe this even more.
Yes, let's look at the scum of dude. I'll set up a chair in the roof and I'll see the people die. I love it.
Yes,
dude, it's like that picture I found on iFunny like 2 days ago. I loved it. Yeah, it's a Bill Burr quote.
Of course it is.
I wish there was like an epidemic. Kills half of the population. Doesn't hit young people, just old people. It's empty.
Dude, it's a real it's so powerful. I have a picture. Oh, no pain and suffering should be mandatory. No, just dude, you need just to rip the Band-Aid. We're too many. Okay, too many on the streets, and as a side effect, we're getting a lot of indie games that are shit. How do you fix that? How do you fix that?
How can you explain how that link works? The society is horrible. We indie games.
Dude.
Like what?
Dude, a lot of shitty Instagram accounts,
Okay.
random like indie games, bad YouTube channels would just disappear. The quality of the world would
Did we
elevate.
is this where we finally discover why you're so cynical about life? Is this what it all comes down to? This whole salt grinder thing was just because of shitty indie games, and you want the world to end because of it?
Maybe.
Oh my
It's
god!
it's a good reason, dude. Less people to laugh at Jimmy Kimmel's jokes.
It's like a
Imagine that.
Hitler's manifesto in the real world, and the last page is, and finally there will be no indie games.
Dude, think about it. We have a major epidemic that's burning through the world in rapid speed, that originated in China, of all places, and people's wills are dying because of it. Do you see how horrible TikTok is?
Who goes on TikTok?
Now
who's
you know why it's called TikTok. It was a countdown.
Dude, you've made so many arguments to nuke China, right? And I think the only one you didn't say, and now that you said it, it's really now it finally resonates with me. TikTok is why we should nuke China.
Look, China needs to be nuked. I made this argument. I'll keep making this argument. China needs to be nuked.
But like,
dude,
entirely nuked or like
entire?
specific?
No. It comes down to this. When someone gives you like a convoluted question, like if you have to nuke one country, which country would you nuke? I'd say China immediately before even hearing the question. And my argument,
what
and
probably
my
do you
argument,
want? Nuke China.
dude, listen to me. Hear me out.
Okay.
You nuke China, you will solve overpopulation, global warming, because they create a lot of the carbon emissions.
Okay.
You will solve a lot of political tensions with Hong Kong, with the US, with the entire world. Mm-hmm. You're gonna solve the mobile game epidemic.
We get to stick it to it.
You're gonna remove TikTok. You're gonna remove all the influence that the SJWs have, because a lot of it comes from China. You will remove the final stronghold for socialism, at least cultural socialism. You will solve the North Korean issue, because North Korea is only alive because of China. All at the same time. One country, you nuke it, you solve most of the world's problems.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're not solving world overpopulation. You're solving China overpopulation.
Dude, you nuke China, you remove like what, 10% of the population? That's a lot.
Yeah, but like that's like saying you remove one person from the class, everyone gets a great.
Let's make it sweeter.
But they all suck anyway. Everyone already has population. You need to nuke everyone. You need to nuke the rest of the world.
I said solving overpopulation, not solving population.
Yeah, but like, what do I care about China if I have overpopulation in my country? You see what I'm saying?
No, but like, if you nuke China, you solve. Overpopulation is only a problem when it comes to resources.
Yeah, but like in each country, you see what I'm saying?
Nobody cares about overpopulating. Okay, nobody cares. Okay,
well, I think we have someone who
nuke
does.
China. Okay, if you nuke China, okay, wipe it off the map. That's a lot of new real estate that we can send the Indians in.
And then kill them because it's irradiated.
Dude. If I can't nuke China, I'd nuke India, because the world's hygiene will increase by 20%.
Again, it's the same
Suddenly
thing.
Venice would clear up for some reason.
No, but again,
and you'll get the very prestigious title of God of the Pakis.
Oh yeah, you become an honorary member of the Paki family.
Yes. Okay. You finally end the war of the movies they make about the war between Pakistan and India. Finally, a winner's decided. That person who nuked India.
Dude, if you're ever Indian or you're part Indian or anything,
I actually am
and
part Indian.
yes, that's why I said it. I
Yes.
didn't want to dox you until you said it yourself live. Dude, if you ever, and you will, and you probably have, if you ever hear a Paki say, "You guys worship cows," the best comeback for it, of course I do. Your mom is a lovely woman.
Is this in the Nuke Everyone manifesto? Like
That can qualify as a nuke, yes.
That's
It's
like
what
you
fully
nuke China,
tactical-
kill them all. Nuke India, kill them all. You go to Pakistan and you give one insult to one guy. Nuke
That's
Pakistan.
enough, trust me.
It just spread.
That does technically count as a nuke. Just a different kind.
It's just, the
You
rest
don't
of the
even
world
need the
going.
kill streak for that one, huh?
The rest of the world goes like, "Wow, Pakistan got it easy." Look, they had the luck of the draw with that one.
Dude, it's like there was a time I was vegetarian for 6 years, and whenever someone tells
For
long
6
story,
years.
Sorry
Yeah.
for your loss.
Short time.
it's okay. I'm sorry for my own loss too. Whenever someone says, the classic, "My food shits on your food," I say, "Well, your food shits."
Okay, that's nice. Oh, so here's an interesting comment. Can we live stream the nuke?
Of course. Dude, when the
should.
Cuban
We
Missile
should.
Crisis hit, it was on every TV screen. You
As
think that will
long
happen?
as long as you put background music and it's na 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 na
Oh
na.
my god! Oh my god! I just realized. Back when the nuke happened in Japan, we only have like accounts. People describe it. There is no real way to see it. But there is somebody with a smartphone that will survive the nuclear epidemic. And you know what
their
their first
cell phone survive.
no,
No,
and
but-
you know what the first thing they'll do?
Hmm?
They will
What?
put it on TikTok.
No, but
And
here's the thing.
that's how we'll know China got nuked.
It won't work if you're doing it from a smartphone, because I know this because there was one that
Dude, imagine someone stupidly dancing with the nuke behind them.
the last TikTok
That will
ever
be in a
made.
historical
Dude,
account.
Dude drops the phone and it raises on the nuke.
Dude, that will be on the history books. That's so good. Oh my god.
Last TikTok ever recorded in the year 2020. But the thing is, no one will actually see the nuke, and here's why. And even by smartphone, because there was this documentary kind of thing where they talked to people who were on the U.S. carriers in the Navy during World War II, and they recounted what the experience was when they fired the nuke. And the thing is, all the people who were there, they were given specific instructions. They were told, you have to turn and have your back to the nuke. You have to close.
I saw that.
Yeah, you have to close your eyes. You have to put your eyes in the crook of your shoulder or through your hands. And the thing is, they experienced it by feeling it and seeing it, even with all of that. Like the flash of light and the radiation was so strong. They said if you had your hands on your eyes, you could see through to your bone.
Yeah, like if you have your eyes
Yeah,
on your
you
eyes,
could literally see the bone.
and when
Like
it
an X-ray.
exploded, you can see your bones.
Yeah, and like it felt like
Okay,
a
we need
shockwave,
to-
and people were
okay.
knocked down.
Okay. We need to
So-
nuke China right now. Okay, that's it.
Dude, my best argument for especially China, but to detonate a nuke anywhere in the world, imagine the meme material. Imagine how would the
contribution
internet meme it?
to humanity, the memes, the new age currency. The death of TikToks gave rise to the meme currency.
Yes, it elevates everything, as I've said. Everything elevates when you eliminate 10% of the population. Everything. On that note, guys, we have to wrap this up. Yep, we have to wrap this up. Any closing remarks, everybody?
I think I lost in the eternal competition of who can have the least humanity. I have finally lost. I have met my match on this day, and I am proud.
Arasan?
I haven't actually thought about my closing remarks.
Nuke China.
Well, nuke China, definitely. And I'm proud of the internet because Kim Jong-un is still not yet dead, yet the internet is still memeing his sister.
Oh my
And
God.
dude, here's the deal. I don't want to sidetrack here. I know it's closing remarks.
Go ahead.
Kim Jong-un's sister. Imagine her becoming the supreme leader of North Korea. Imagine the amount of material Shadman would have.
Man, I was about to joke and say boner alert, and then you said that. I'm so glad we're on the same page.
Dude, the first female dictator you'll have, and you can imagine all the betas of the world just flocking to North Korea.
First female dictator.
Yes. Just I can imagine all the simps.
Dude, imagine a female becoming the dictator and undisputed leader of her country, and having all the power and all the influence. Can you imagine how jealous Hillary Clinton would be?
Ooh, Kim Jong-un needs to die right now. Kim Jong-un, please pass the bullet. It's for the memes. Do it for the people.
Stick it to Hillary.
Yes,
Take one for the team.
Dude, there isn't something more communist to do than to stick it to Hillary Clinton. All right.
Actually, my prediction is that if his sister actually becomes the leader, North Korea would finally open up, and here's why.
Okay.
You know the guilty pleasures of Kim Jong-un. You know, basketball and American basketball and all of that.
Yeah, and all that.
Look me in the eyes and tell me that the guilty pleasure of his sister isn't South Korean dramas.
Oh my God. We have destroyed North Korea. We've destroyed China. We've destroyed India. We destroyed Pakistan with an insult. And now North Korea. You're next.
My heart.
I win.
Oh, you win. You're the worst and best human in our age. I concede the title to you. Full respect. Finally, a worthy successor. Oh.
Hitler did nothing wrong.
People talk about World War III. We need the Cold War too.
We need to close. We need to close. Lee, that's it.
Okay, thank you guys. Join the Discord, subscribe, everything. See you guys in the next one.
Oh my God.
And